Morning, everybody. Welcome back to the Pipeline Power Podcast, powered by RevSurge AI. I'm your host, Austin Montero, and today we are joined by Jeff Arnold. Jeff is the CEO of 4Spot Consulting. Jeff, how are you doing today, my friend?
Doing great. How about yourself?
I am doing great. Thank you for joining us. We appreciate you taking time out of your busy day, and it's Friday.
Thanks
And
for having me.
of course, anytime. I love your background too, as well. So it's
Oh, thank you.
a nice looking family back there with looks like a lot of college diplomas there on the picture family frame behind us. It's very cool. So
Oh,
let's
yeah.
dive in first, Jeff. Here, can you share with us and the listeners a little bit about your role and how it fits into the bigger picture at 4Spot Consulting?
Yeah. So I started the company 12 years ago, and we started off as kind of a do everything, do everything firm, right? We were tech savvy. The people we were working with weren't. So we were kind of doing everything. That, long story short, has whittled down to we do business automation right now.
Okay.
So I'm the chief strategist, I guess is the best word for that. We have a team that does the actual builds and implementations, but we have a process that we call ops mesh that includes an ops map, which is kind of an audit, ops build, which is going to be where we physically work on building out automation and implementing AI for people. And then we have ops care, which is just going to be our ongoing maintenance if they're interested.
Very cool. And what are the kind of clients that you're working with?
So right now we're working with a lot of human resource entities, mainly because I have a best-selling Amazon book called The Automated Recruiter
Very
that
cool.
I recently launched, and we got a lot of pickup from that. So we're working with a lot of HR firms right now, and we're finding that we can save them about 25% of their day by implementing some of the AI implementation and the automation that we're working with.
Wow, that's awesome. Congrats on the book. First of all, what are some of those automations right now that you guys are seeing are having the best impact for these HR firms?
So a lot of what we're doing is data parsing using AI.
Hmm.
A lot of people have leads coming in via email. They have resumes coming in via email. They may get email or resumes uploaded to their website, whatever it may be. And so what we're doing is we're doing a lot of data extraction from those PDFs by implementing AI into the middle of the automation. And what happens is now, instead of having an entry level person going through and opening them and documenting information into their ATS, we're able to use the AI system to read all that content, add all that content automatically to their ATS, and then automatically file those resumes away and index them so that, say in the future, they're working with a recruiting firm or a headhunter, and that headhunter brings that same person back to them. Now they're in a position where they can say, we already received that resume 3 months ago. And so they don't have to end up paying for the recruiter's fee, that headhunter fee that's coming because they already had an organic submission.
Which is a huge ROI for them. Massive.
ROI. And then also the time savings. We have one company that they're saving 15 hours a week just on that process because it's completely automated now.
It's enormous. And we're seeing that across many industries, which is, time is obviously our most valuable thing. So that's awesome. An awesome thing that you're providing to your clients. So Jeff, I know we talked back in the green room. We've been in business for 12 years. Congrats on that. I know as business owners and CEOs and founders, as our role changes over the course of time, which is obviously a good thing and a natural thing. What, at this point in time, does a typical day look like for you, and where is your main focus on as far as growing the business?
Yeah, so we have all of our workers are remote. We do not have an office. I'm headquartered in Las Vegas. We have some domestic folks, and then we have some international folks. And I've been outsourcing for about 20 years. And I've built for the entire time I've had the company, it's been completely outsourced workers. So my typical day is, I'm getting up around 5 a.m. I'm scanning through some emails and stuff. And then typically I'm going through and just checking on my email, making sure no fires going on. And then going through and working on some strategic things that we're working on. So working on contacting our sales leads, being able to put together some more information. With AI now, we're growing our information. We're building our own internal brain. So I'm working on getting all of that configured and working with my team. Having a couple quick meetings with my team just to follow up on what's going on with the different clients that we have. And for the most part, that's my day, is just going through that whole process of, responding to clients, working with clients, coming up with ideas of things that they can do to implement into their business, and then working with the team if they have any questions on, what they're supposed to be doing for those
Yeah.
individuals.
What have you seen, as your role as CEO, is the one or two most important levers you can pull day to day that move the company forward?
The one thing that we've been doing a lot, obviously, is the use of AI.
Yeah.
And I know that I almost hate to say that because it just seems like it's such a buzzword now that everybody's saying AI. But I work on constantly refining our prompts that we have. So I
Okay.
use AI PRM. I'm sure everybody's familiar with that. Great browser plugin to be able to create your own prompts that you can save and go back and use regularly.
Mm-hmm.
So we get a lot of leads coming in from various sources. We're partners, gold partners with Make. We're gold partners with Zapier. We're partners with Keep, the CRM. So all of those systems are sending us leads to work on doing the integrations. And as I get those, I want to be able to produce the most authentic
Yeah.
and most accurate, feedback to them, whether it's a proposal or something else. And so I go in and I put my information in, and I constantly work on refining those prompts so that now we're to the point where what used to take me probably, 10, 15 minutes per proposal to put together, et cetera. Now I'm getting that done in about 2 or 3.
Yeah, crazy, amazing. Again, back to that timepiece and how valuable that is becoming, and probably the biggest asset I think that AI is offering right now. With that being said, Jeff, as far as in your industry specifically, what you're doing, and maybe even in regards to the clients you're serving, what major shifts are you seeing right now in the industry?
So we work in the low code, no code space. We're working, like I said, we work with Make very heavily. We're in with Zapier. So we're not doing the true cloud coding and super heavy duty. We're working with the services that our clients can then kind of step into if they want to, and be able to, play around a little bit if they have to. And it's easier to hand that off to them than doing all back end coding. It's
Okay.
also a lot faster when you're working with that. So a couple things we've seen. One I mentioned already is the PDF parsing and the data parsing.
Yeah.
AI has tremendously reduced that process. We had a client that had 30 some different lead sources. And every time they changed lead sources, we would have to go in and write the regex in order to be able to, identify and pull out data. And it took us about 2 hours to put that whole process together for every single format that they had. And now we've been able to put an AI step in the middle, and we never have to touch it. We just tell AI, read this email, give
Yeah.
us the results. And now they're saving, 2 hours for every new lead source, and they're constantly changing lead sources. So the introduction of AI into the middle of things is a big change that we see. The other thing that we're seeing is a lot of people are starting to use the AI telephony, right? They're using systems like Bland and Vappy and things like that, where they're using AI as their front end receptionist. And
Mhm.
so now the receptionist doesn't have to be stuck answering a bunch of phone calls and just forwarding to different extensions. We have one client where we deployed that for them, and their receptionist saved 80% of her time. So 32 hours a week, she no longer has to answer phones and forward out to different areas. She only has to take those calls where they want to talk to a human, or they have something that falls outside of the box of what the automation is normally
Mhm.
ready to take care of.
Yeah, and that's huge. And how have those two trends you just laid out impacted your business and or your growth strategy?
So we can do the AI telephony, but what we found is we are just really, really good at the true automation side.
Okay.
So we do work on the telephony if somebody comes to us for that, but right now our focus is really building the automation. And so we don't typically lead with AI as our,
Mhm.
as our intro. We lead with automation because there is a big difference between AI and automation. A lot of people don't realize that. So part of my educational process when I speak with clients is AI is great and we can work on deploying AI into an automation, but the automation is really the key, right?
Mhm.
Getting to the point where you can take some data from one place and get it to the other without the potential of human, fat fingering something,
Right.
And we really adapt to the 110-100 rule, which
Mhm.
is it costs $1 to fix something. If you fix it at the beginning, it's $10 if it gets into production, and it's $100 if it gets to be client facing. That's going
Right.
to take you to fix that. So
Right.
we really focus on that side of things
Okay.
and try to make sure that we're getting with our clients and taking care of that, whatever that issue may be at the forefront, right? Connect
Mhm.
all your software so that one piece of data entry doesn't have to be re-entered 2 or 3 times with your different systems.
Makes sense. Makes
Yeah.
sense. Very cool. We just mentioned there clients, automation. Let's kind of go just current state of the business.
Mhm.
What are you doing currently to get to work on your client acquisition to get more clients in the door, so to speak, as they say?
So, like I mentioned, I have the book, The Automated Recruiter. So that's
Mhm.
bringing in a lot of things. I do have that available. It's on our website. I'm sure you can post that somewhere, but
Yeah.
forspotconsulting.com/HR. They can get a free copy of that book if they're interested. But that is driving a lot of volume into us because people are reading through that and seeing what they can do in their organizations.
Sure.
And we're also doing a lot of LinkedIn outreach. And
Okay.
I also am in the process right now of getting out and speaking on stages.
Cool.
So, because we are focused in the HR space, a lot of people don't know what they can do with automation.
Yeah.
And so I'm going out, I've worked in a couple different courses, and we're working on, perfecting my speaking capabilities out on the
Sure.
stage, and
Sure.
just trying to get out there and spread the word about automation and how AI can work into that.
I love that. I love the book as a giveaway. I think that's a
Yeah.
great marketing advertising tool. Not sure if you, I'm going to hold up a book here. Not sure if you watched this past weekend, or if you know who that is, Alex Hormozy. He just put on a master class in using that tactic to market to customers. He sold $100 million in a day last Saturday. Wow.
Nice.
And it goes into the book piece. That's why I'm sitting here on my
Yep.
desk. And it reminded me as you said that.
Yep.
And then you mentioned there, Jeff, just I believe you mentioned LinkedIn. Are you guys doing cold outreach on LinkedIn, automated through AI emails? How is that working for you, and how have you seen the best results from that form of marketing outreach?
Yeah, so we do have it automated. We have some automated cold outreach. We also we have a whole series of automation built into the back end
Mhm.
of honestly replicating human interaction. So
Right,
we're
right.
going out, and we're not just going out right away and being like, "Hey, looks like you're doing great things with XYZ coming." I hate that kind of stuff, and it's so obvious what
Yeah,
that is. So
yeah.
I'm pretty straightforward in the way that I approach it. I just say, hey, I have typically I lead with the book is,
Mhm.
hey, I have you're in the HR space. I have this free book. If you're interested, you can go and download it. And that's
Yeah,
pretty much the way I start off.
yeah,
And we've seen pretty good response with that. People are interested in getting it in either, Kindle or hard copy, but they're
yeah,
interested in getting it. They read it. And then I'm getting feedback from them that's when they wanted to come and start talking. They said, hey, I've read this and sparked my interest in whatever. And I always tell people with that, just contact me. I'm more than happy to give you
mhm,
the ideas and concepts of things you could do, because usually people have no clue the level of things that you're able to do with automation.
for sure.
And so yeah, so we get some pretty good feedback from that
Cool.
coming through. Obviously, it is a numbers game when you're doing something like that, but I really try to keep it realistic
Mhm.
because I don't know if anybody responds to that like, hey, it looks like you're doing great things in the XYZ industry.
Yeah,
Um, so
yeah.
I try to keep it real and just say, hey, look, this is cold outreach. I'm just trying to let you know I have this available and I'd love to talk to you.
Yeah, I think that's the best way to do it too. The authentic approach to it, authenticity. One of my favorite folks out there is Naval. One of his great sayings is the only way to escape competition is through authenticity, and I think that rings true so strongly in today's day and age, so to
Mhm.
speak. With that being said, Jeff, we talked kind of back in that green room again. I've run a few businesses myself. There's the good, the bad, and the ugly. Times are always changing. Always kind of, things coming at you left, right, center.
Right.
What's working well for you guys right now at Four Spot? What it has been a little bit frustrating over the past quarter or two?
The what's working really well is the systems that we've actually built internally.
Okay.
So, when we manage things, when we're managing our projects, we're using Teamwork. We have Automate, and we use Keep as our CRM. So we use that. We drive everything from the CRM. So everything from there kind of feeds out, kind of like a hub and spoke kind of thing.
Yeah.
And we have everything automated. So what we've built for ourselves works great for us to manage all of our projects and be really efficient with that. And I think that is beneficial to our clients because we're getting things done faster than most entities can work on getting things accomplished. So I think the use of, I'll just say the use of properly formatted technology, I'll keep it at that,
Yeah.
has really helped us be able to provide the best level of service for
Hmm.
our clients.
Hmm.
And then things that are tough is just right now, I mean, AI stuff is coming at you, not like a fire hose, but like 10 fire hoses coming at you
Yeah,
with,
literally.
here's a brand new shiny thing, right? And of course, as an entrepreneur, I'm looking at every one of them thinking,
Yeah.
oh, I could do this and I could do that. And, but trying to just kind of quell that a little bit and
Mhm.
say, okay, what of this information is something I have to pay attention to today?
Right.
Because with 1,000 different tools coming at you, you never know which one's going to be the one that is going to stick.
Right.
So we try not to get distracted by all those, things that are coming at us with all the shiny tools. But yeah, we play with some of those, we adopt them, and I try to share them with my clients and with my database. If I find something really cool, I just send out an email saying, hey, I found this awesome tool. And people seem to appreciate that.
Yeah, it's you hit the nail on the head there. Literal information overload, and
Oh, it is.
choosing. I'm in the same exact boat. And choosing which tool is appropriate for you and your business at this point in time, which I'm
Right.
sure will change as we move forward. So, with all that being said, what's that metrics or metric that you're most focused on improving at this point in time?
Right now is efficiency for ourselves whenever
Okay.
we're working with clients. So, we've changed our business approach where we used to be very much a dollar per hour type entity, and
Mhm.
now we're looking to move and change to a value based proposition because
Mm.
the value we provide with our automation is huge.
Okay.
And quite often people are getting 3, 4, 5 times ROI in the first year just from what we're able to implement for them, depending on how manual their processes are right now.
Right. Right.
So we're really trying to focus on going more for a value-based pricing model as opposed to
Yeah.
trading dollars for hours, because we found that dollars for hours, we always, just because of my nature, I always underbid. So we end up losing out a little bit on some of that. So that's been our biggest change.
So has that been more your pricing based more on output as opposed to input, or
Correct.
yeah?
More based on the output, right?
Okay.
So instead of, because a lot of times what happens is, you know, we build a lot of efficiencies for ourselves. So we've
Mhm.
taken that time and that IP and really worked on building an efficient model.
Yeah.
And so, somebody else might take 3 hours to get something accomplished where we might be able to do it in 30 minutes or an hour.
Right.
And
Right.
so, what we worked with a consulting firm called Predictive ROI, and they've been great for us. They help agencies, but so in that, they've really helped us change our mindset around the way that we do our pricing and go value based.
Yeah.
And they kind of equated it to if you go to the doctor, right? You're not paying the doctor per hour; you're paying a fee for their knowledge to give you the answer to whatever you're looking for. So, if you figure out what you're paying the doctor, you're paying a lot per hour, but that's not the way that you approach it. You approach it as an outcomes based. He gave me the answer to what I need. I'm
Mhm.
paying the fee for going there. And that's kind of the approach we're taking with us now.
Very cool. I love it. I love it. I love it. I think, and again, that goes back to the authenticity piece we touched on earlier, and results driven. And I think that just delivers a better client experience too at the end of the day, and
Yeah,
builds that trust too.
yeah, and it gets us out of being transactional, right? Like
Right. Right.
we truly enjoy working with clients long term, and that's our
Yeah.
goal. We have some of our clients have been with us for like 6 years, so we love to work side by side, get inside your business. We kind of consider ourselves like a fractional automation agent, or
Mhm.
whatever you want to
Mhm.
call it, fractional,
Yeah. Yeah.
manager. But we get in there and really work hand in hand, get to learn their business. We give them, we don't just we don't go out and say, what do you want done? We'll go do it. We sit down with them and we really do a consultation and say, like, where do you want to be? Like, and what's your overall goal? And then we work on crafting and figuring out where we can deploy some quick wins with
Mhm.
automation, right? Some real quick wins. Then we can do some of the heavier lifting on some of the longer term things
Yeah.
to allow them to, maximize their efficiency.
I love it. I love it. I love it. And then, Jeff, last question for you. For
Yeah.
Spot Consulting, what's on the horizon for you guys next 6 to 12 months from a goal perspective?
Yeah, so we are looking at probably, we've been maintaining about 20% growth per year annualized. Obviously COVID kind of threw that off a little bit, but we've been having some good solid growth. And we're just looking to continue to do the same thing, but probably pushing closer to, 30-40% in the coming year
Beautiful. Beautiful.
because of the relationships that we're making and, me being able to go out on stage and speak. It's one of those things,
Mm.
obviously, you're at the front of the stage. People obviously see you as the expert of what you're talking about. And so we're hoping to, be able to maximize that as well.
Beautiful. I love
Yeah.
it. I love it. And looking forward to following you on LinkedIn and seeing all that stuff, seeing the speaking gigs. I'm going to check out the book myself.
Excellent.
Everybody out there, please do the same. Jeff, before we go, I think
Yeah.
it's a great place to wrap it up. Where can folks follow you, find Four Spot Consulting online, on social media, all that good stuff?
Yep, we're working on our social stuff. I pretty much do LinkedIn, and we have our website right now. I'm not a great social person, but we're trying to get a lot of content out there now. One of the things that I'm launching, actually, today's Friday. We're recording this on a
Yep.
Friday, so one of the things I'm launching is I'm doing a 5 minute Friday, which
Oh,
is
cool.
basically going to be a LinkedIn video. I'm
Mhm.
focusing on HR right now. It's going to be, and I'm going to introduce other industries in the future, but right now, it's going to be a 5 minute Friday. It's really going to be a quick 5 minute overview of what's going on in the HR space as it relates to automation and AI, giving some highlights, giving some pointers, and then listing all of the different
Yeah.
resources that I got my information from, so people can go, check those out themselves if they want to.
That's awesome. Very
Yeah.
cool. We
So
love that. And we love you coming on today, sharing your insights, what you guys are doing at Four Spot, where your focus is, where you're going. We wish you the best of luck with the book, with the speaking, and with the continued growth of Four Spot Consulting. So, Jeff, thank you so much again. And that is it for today on the Pipeline Power podcast. We will
thank you.
see everybody next time. Thanks, Jeff.
Thanks.